Yeah, what is going on? What it do? What it is? What it is? What it do? What it do? Foo. It's your girl, Lord B Customs, and I'm here today to give y'all something special. Something y'all been waiting on. Something y'all been begging me for, begging me to do, and that is one-on-one tutorials. And today is a special one because I'm gonna show you guys how to wrap shoes. I'm gonna show you how to fully wrap a shoe like this. Yes, sir. This is what we're focusing on. I'm giving you the gem today. I'm giving you the gem. I'm giving you the sauce. I'm giving you the splat. Because people ain't gonna show you how to do it step by step like I'm gonna show you how to do it. So I'm not gonna keep y'all for too long. With that being said, like, subscribe, comment, share, do all that good stuff. Run me up, run these likes up, run these views up so I can give y'all some more great content. And with that being said, you feel me? Like, let's just get into this video. So for this tutorial, you're going to need, of course, Air Force Ones, brand spanking new. Okay. Next, we're going to need 100% acetone, cotton swabs, E6000, tape. For this tape, I'm using Scotch. Let's see if it focuses. Scotch 2020 contractor grade. You're going to need scissors, and of course, material. For this material, I'm using LV for the tongue right there, and then this is the rose material. I actually sell a vendor's list that'll show you where I get all my materials from. You can click the link below. I'll drop the link in the description. And then lastly, you'll need an X-Acto knife. All right, y'all, from this point in the video, I'm gonna be doing a little voiceover, and then y'all gonna be seeing everything from my point of view. I feel like that was the best way for me to show you exactly how to do this custom step by step. So some parts I'm gonna be talking, some I'm gonna just let the music ride. So yeah, what we're starting off with first is just delacing the shoes, getting the laces and the lace locks out. Also, y'all just keep in mind when y'all doing this custom to take your time. I was always intimidated by doing a full wrap or even just wrapping shoes, only because I attempted to do it a couple times and they weren't so successful. It wasn't up to my standards of a custom. And I found the biggest reason for that being was I did not take my time. So once I learned to, be patient with the process, really be precise on cutting everything and gluing everything correctly, that's when I started to get better and really mastered the wrapping of putting fabric on shoes. So anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna let the music ride for a little while. I'm gonna just let y'all watch and see what I'm doing. These next couple steps, I'm gonna be removing the Nike swooshes up to a certain point. I'm gonna be taking out the excess threading, acetoning, and then we'll get into the taping part. Yeah. Come on. Woo. I wanna take a leap with you. My mind say no, but what my body do, baby. Take me into the night. Explore my sexual side, baby. Yeah. Yours for the night. Wanna be your company, hour after hour. Want your body next to me. Tonight, I'll be a little freaky. All right, y'all, so boom, now we on to the fun part. We done got everything prepped. Now it's time to tape. Now, taping is by far the most important step of this entire custom. If you mess up on the taping part, on this taping section, y'all, just give it up. You're gonna have to start all over because your fabric, your material that you cut out depends on the cutout of the tape. So what I mean by this is take your time. I'm going to reiterate this a million times. Take your time. As you see, I'm using my thumb to flatten out the tape as much as possible. The tape was kind of like buckling up in the front, so I decided to rip it off and do it in another direction that I saw best fit. So yeah, I use my thumb to really press down into the different nooks and crannies of the shoe, and I'm gonna do this around the entire shoe. So I just want y'all to pay close attention to how I lay the tape down as flat as possible, how I get into the grooves, how I find every line in the shoe, and I really press down hard on this tape so that when it's time to cut out the tape or cut out the excess parts that you don't need, it's easy. You won't have much problem with ripping or with removing the tape to put on the fabric. You won't run into a lot of issues if you do this step correctly. this tape. And so most people use a pen or a pencil and they outline the seams in which they need to cut out. Me, I don't really like to do that. I go straight in with the X-Acto knife. Now, this is just my method of doing it. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong way. I'm just saying this is how I do it. Now, I do give myself a centimeter or two of what's it called? Of just extraness, of seam allowance, I guess. So I don't cut right on the lines, or I don't cut right at where the panels end. I leave a centimeter or two of tape, and that is so that it can alleviate fraying of the fabric when I take the tape off. And then it also is better to cut more than what you need and then trim down than to not cut enough and have to do it all over again. For this part of the custom, guys, just make sure you take your time. Make sure you have a steady hand. Make sure that you don't cut too deep into the fabric or into the leather. And I always use my thumb as a guide to press the tape down and to keep my balance with the X-Acto knife as well. And yeah, just make sure you take your time. Make sure you have all of the tape cut completely through. So that when you do remove the tape, it doesn't rip any pieces off that you actually need. And if that ever happens, it's okay. You could just add more tape and then recut. Just always make sure you take your time. That's most important. All right, y'all. So as y'all can see, I'm using my thumb to find the visible line that divides the midsole from the bottom sole. Once I've established that line and I can clearly see it through the tape, I'm going to cut as precisely as I can. I take my time with this. I don't rush it. I make sure that I have a steady hand. And yeah, I'm going to go all the way around and then remove the excess tape.
Don't be asking, you just put it in the bag and I'm like, hey, I'm on my way. Yeah, like a bitch got paid.
Okay, y'all, so it's time to remove the tape. So I always start left to right. So I'm going to remove the left side first and then remove the right side. So we'll cut down the middle. And after you cut down the middle, I start at the very toe area, toe box area of the shoe, and I work my way up. Okay, I slowly remove it piece by piece, section by section, making sure that I don't rip, tear, snag,
any tape. The goal is to get the tape off in one piece. Every single small piece of tape that I put bound together, I want to pull it off as one whole piece. So you just want to make sure you take your time and pull it off in sections. This definitely requires both hands to do so. And yeah, just make sure that even if a piece does come apart or section does come apart, to flatten the tape back out onto the leather and then bind the tape back together. I hope that makes sense. And yeah, and then pull it back off as best as you can. So once I pulled it off from the middle, I went ahead and started to separate the back heel area, making sure that I get one clean line and one clean piece of tape in the middle, and then I work my way back towards the middle of the shoe. And there you have it. So this is what I mean when I say if the tape separates, just flatten it back out into the shoe. That's exactly what I mean. You're going to bind the tape back together when it separates by flattening it back onto the shoe and then removing the tape slowly. And so once we get the stencil ready, we're going to grab our fabric, flatten it out, put the stencil on top of the fabric, and then we're going to cut it out. So those are the next steps that you're going to see. Some tips and advice that I have for this step is to always make sure that you're flattening out your stencil, especially near the toe box area where it curves around the shoe. You want to make sure that the fabric is flat underneath your stencil, because if it's not, then you can actually cut the fabric too small, and that's what you want to avoid. So make sure that you flatten out your stencil. You'll see me constantly using my thumbs and my hands and fingers to smooth out the stencil because it tends to come up off the fabric. This is also a very important step. And I keep saying that each step is important, but it kind of is. Each step is just as important as the previous step because they all work together to make a great custom and for your custom to turn out right. All right, now you're ready to cut. So I'll go ahead and I make sure that I cut enough fabric so that I can really cut in precision. So cut them in half, and just like I do with the tape, I also, when it comes to fabric like this, unless it's leather, I'm going to leave a seam allowance of like 1 or 2 centimeters. It's gonna look like I'm cutting right along the edge of the tape, but I'm actually not. I'm leaving at least a centimeter or 2 of extra fabric, and this helps with, for me personally, I think it helps with eliminating fraying of the fabric. And also, like I said, I can always cut any extra off, but I can't add any fabric. So that's just how I personally do it. And so, yeah, I'm going to cut around, and then we're ready to apply the fabric onto the shoe. right, y'all, now it's time to apply the glue. For the glue, of course, I'm using E6000. That's what it looked like brand new, but I already had one that was open, so I'm gonna use the rest of this first. Now, I personally like to use a paintbrush. You can also use Q-tips, but I prefer a paintbrush. You can start from the front or you can start from the back. Don't really matter, but I chose to start from the back. So I just make sure that I get around all the edges, that I get every single spot that I need to be covered with glue. I make sure that I touch every single spot with the paintbrush. Now, I do apply my glue in sections, as you'll see. I kind of do it in 3 sections, so I'll do the heel area up to that first panel, and then I'll take the fabric and apply it on, and then I'll do the middle panel and work my way forward to the toe box area. So when you do this, just make sure you take your time. Make sure that you spread the glue out evenly. You don't have to oversaturate the glue. Just make sure that you have enough that it bonds to the fabric and to the shoe. And make sure that you get as close to the edges as you can, as close to the sock liner that you can without touching the sock liner. And if you ever get any glue on any unwanted areas, just take a Q-tip, wipe it off, and you should be good to go. So you see, I applied the glue to the back panel, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the fabric, and piece by piece I'm going to lay it down, and I'm gonna use my fingers to get the fabric into the grooves of the sock liner and each panel. And you just want to take your time with this, you know. I'm gonna be working these areas with my hands, as you can see. You know, even when I move forward to other sections, I always come back and make sure that it didn't move in the back area, and that everything is flat and even, and it looks, you know, professional. You want to make sure that you press down hard, that you get the glue to really bond with the fabric and with the shoe, so that when it dries, you don't have any air bubbles, you don't have any ripples or anything like that. So just make sure you take your time, start in one section and then work your way up. Don't just try to glue the entire shoe all at once, or the entire half of the shoe all at once. Do it in sections like I do, and I think you'll have a better outcome, because I did try to glue like an entire half of the shoe at once and apply all the glue, but that just caused problems later on, because parts of the shoe would already be dried, and then parts of the glue would not be dry. So I would have a lot of the material still not bonding to the shoe. So just do it in sections like I'm doing. As you see, I'm starting in the middle section now and working my way up to the toe box area. front of the shoe, which to me is always the hardest part, because this is where the shoe curves the most. This is where you have the most, this is where you really have to work the fabric. And this is where you have to be careful and you have to take your time. So you'll see that once I apply the glue and I start to lay the fabric down, you just want to make sure that the fabric stretches out enough that it reaches the middle of the shoe, so that you don't have any parts of the shoe showing once you lay both sides down. So yeah, this is to me the most challenging part of laying fabric on a shoe, is the toe box area. But like I said, and like I keep repeating, if you take your time and you're patient and you work it correctly, you won't have any problems. So I start with the top section. I lay my thumb down so that I can keep the fabric in place, and then I work my way down. I'm making sure that the fabric gets into the grooves of each panel, so that it lays down flat, and I'm working my way down, making my way downtown. Yes, what we're doing, we're making our way downtown. And then you go to the midsole and lay it down. Now, I tend to hold the fabric down for a while just so I can make sure that it bonds down and it actually stays. So you'll see me do that a few times. You just want to hold it down for like 10, 15 seconds, something like that. And you just want to make sure that you push the fabric to the middle and stretch it out as much as possible. If you do all of these steps correctly, then you won't have any problems. I'm telling you. I go back and I'm using my fingers to really press down in the grooves and the nooks of each panel. That way it looks like that there's a seamless application of the fabric to the shoe. And then I go back and I check to see if any spots of the fabric did not bond. So like, as you can see, the toe box, not the toe box area, but the sock liner area, it did not bond right there. So I went back with some more glue and I applied it, and I'm pressing back down firmly, going back and working the toe box area, put my shoe tree back in so that it helps when I press down. And I'm just finding parts and sections of the shoe that I'm finding that are still lifting, and I reapply the glue and lay it back down. So that's what you want to do. You want, after you get the entire half of the section laid down, you want to then go back and check to make sure that all areas are have enough glue so that it bonds. In any areas that you find that don't, take a Q-tip. How I'm doing, take a Q-tip, apply more glue, and press down. And you're going to press down for anywhere to 10 to 15 seconds. And I'm constantly working my fabric in these grooves. Once I feel confident enough that I've done everything and that it's bonding really well, I'll go and I'll start with the next section. Now for this section, I know the left side I started in the back, but for the right side, I'm actually going to start in the front, and that way I make sure that the fabric meets in the middle perfectly. Again, you can still start in the back. It's your choice, but this is just how I do it. Alright, so now I'm gonna grab my material, my fabric, and I'm going to gently place it in the middle and work the fabric down. And I start to notice that this part right here, I may have overcut in that section, in that area right where my thumbs are. So as you can see, I'm having a little bit of trouble with laying it down, but that's okay because I'll go ahead and I apply the rest of the fabric down. And when you have problems like this, don't let it stress you out. Just continue to work, reapply the glue, and work the fabric. What I mean by that is continue to lay it down, and you'll see in a few minutes or a few seconds, I actually grabbed some scissors. Yeah, so I had to grab some scissors and basically snip off the extra fabric that was right there, which wasn't a lot. It was just a smidge that I had to trim down. And once I trimmed that down, I was able to fit the remaining fabric in that groove in the front section of the toe box area, and then I'm able to really lay it down. So I had to apply more glue because the glue did dry a little bit, so I do have to apply more glue and then work the fabric back down. And like I said, I just had to be patient with this section, making sure that it lays down as flat as possible and that I don't have any buckling of the fabric, because you gotta keep in mind that these will be worn. And everybody knows, like, Air Forces, the toe box area, it always creases. So you want to make sure that the fabric doesn't just lift as people are walking. So getting the fabric into these grooves and these nooks and crannies it's definitely very important that you make sure that you do that and that you lay it down as flat as possible. That way that the fabric can bond to the shoe really well and you won't have any lifting of the fabric. So just like the other side, I'm doing this panel by panel, section by section. So now I'm on to the middle section, and then I'll work my way to the back area and making sure that I get every single part of the shoe with glue that I need glued down.
day. Wanna be your company, hour after hour. Want your body next to me. Tonight, I'll be a little freaky freak. Tonight, I'll be your biggest fantasy. Baby, love me right. Fire and desire. Fire, fire, you're my desire. Fire.
So just like the other side of the shoe, I'm going to go over and make sure that everything's laid down flat. Check and see if there's any parts lifting, and if there are, I'm going to, just like this, I'm going to reapply the glue, lay it back down flat. And if you can see the front area, one side is longer than the other. You'll see later on I cut that excess fabric off with an X-Acto knife. So that's what you use your X-Acto knife for as well. And yeah, so I'm just gonna find places where the fabric is still lifting and reapply the glue and lay it down flat.
How the fuck I let a nigga do me like that? Not supposed to let him do.
So what you want to do once the fabric is laid on the shoe, laid down completely, you want to take your thumb and your fingers, you really want to press the fabric down into each nook and each groove and nook and cranny of the shoe. This is so that it gives it a seamless look, and also it reassures that the fabric is bonding to the shoe once the glue completely dries. E6000 does take at least 24 to 48 hours to completely cure. So once the glue dries, the fabric is gonna be stuck how it is. So you wanna make sure that the fabric is laid on flat, it's laid on right, and it should look like this once you're finished. I'm just gonna cut off any excess fraying of the fabric, and then we can get on to gluing down the Nike swooshes.
One told me about the thing, and now we got my heart like that. Not supposed to let him do that.
Okay, so now we're on to gluing down the Nike swooshes. It's just a rinse and repeat of doing the fabric. You just want to lay the glue down evenly and flat. Only difference is for the Nike swooshes, I do use clamps, which I didn't include in the materials list in the beginning. This is optional, but it does help me a lot. The clamps that I use, I did get from Lowe's, I want to say. And I think they were like $15, and you get a lot of different sizes of clamps. And those really help with the Nike swoosh bonding and sticking to the shoe, and it helps with just pressing down firmly on the shoe. So you'll see that once I have the Nike swoosh laid down, I use my clamps to really press down and hold the Nike swooshes in place. And again, these are clamps that you can get at Lowe's. You can probably find them at Home Depot as well. And I think I paid like $15 for them. You get like 20 of them, and they come in different sizes.
None of your bitches in my lane, I could pave my own way. Got away, you see. Bitches always talking shit. Wrap your lips around my dick. Tell me I will win a taste. Matter of fact, now that you're doing it, let me ease your mind a bit. Show you what it's gonna take for you to hustle like me, bankroll poppin', try to get the drop in. Yeah, I get it just to spend it, boy. My haters be suspicious. Don't pay no mind to me. I'm just trying to get my money. I could pave my own way.
So now we're just going to rinse and repeat this other side of the Nike swoosh. And just keep in mind that you're only going to keep the clamps on for about 5 to 10 minutes. This is because the clamps are so powerful and they're so strong that they can actually cause a permanent indent into the Nike swoosh, and that's what you don't want. So don't keep the clamps on for too long. I would say a total of 5 to 10 minutes for each Nike swoosh, and then take them off and just let air and the curation of the glue do the rest of the work.
Don't worry about where I'm from, we quick to pull the trigger. All y'all niggas are so fake to me. Talk so much, got bitch made tendencies. I'm moving forward, ain't never looking back. I'll pave a fucking way, and that's a fact. I could pave my own way. None of you bitches in my lane, I could pave my own way. Got away, you see.
Alright, and once you have both sides glued down, just want to make sure that you press down firmly on them. Make sure that they're nice and securely bonded. And now we're ready to poke holes into our shoes, or re-poke the holes, in which I am using my scissors to just poke the hole through the fabric, because the holes are already poked. And yeah, there you have it. Now we're ready to do the tongue area, which will be the LV material. Went ahead and grabbed my tape and made my outline, and now I'm just gonna press down the tape onto the LV material, cut it out, and do my precision cutting. Make sure that everything fits correctly once I am done cutting. So you just want to make sure that you're careful with removing the tape so you don't cause a lot of fraying of the fabric. And grab your E6000. Make sure that you get the E6000 in the corners of the tongue. And I'm also going to add some E6000 onto the back of the LV. And you want to make sure that you evenly spread the glue around, of course. And with this, of course, I'm using a Q-tip. And I'm going to press down firmly, and I'm also going to use my clamps to clamp it down as well and hold it in place. All right, y'all, we almost at the finish line. So now we just gotta lace these up and then put the fabric on the tips of the laces and they'll be ready to go. Glad y'all made it this far into the tutorial. Give yourself a round of applause. We are almost at the finish line, guys. Woo! Yeah. Once you have them laced up, go ahead and put the little stuffing back into the shoe so that the glue and the material can firmly have something to, keep in place as it's bonding. Now for the laces, for the lace tips, I use a combination of E6000 and super glue. I found that helps the best with bonding to the tips of the laces. So I'm just going to put some E6000 on, put it on the shoe, and just work the fabric around the lace. And I'm not sure if I got this on camera or not, but I do add a little bit of super glue. I use Loctite super glue. That's my favorite super glue to use. And it helps with instant and permanent bonding. Here are all the results. Nice. Alright, man. Alright, y'all. Alright, gang. Listen, I've taken y'all step by step on how to do this. I've given as much information as I can in regards to wrapping shoes. Now, this again is the full wrap. That means I've done the toe box area. Most of the shoe is covered except for the Nike checks and the back panel. I showed you also how I added the LV on the tongue and also on the laces, the lace tips, which I thought gave it a nice little split. You feel me? So yeah, man. Like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. And it's your girl, Lord V, and I'm out.